Good, good. Thank you for joining us for the Q&A. I've got 3 great fighters I'd like you to welcome to the stage. Please make some noise for Joanne Calderwood, Leon Edwards, and Germaine De Randamie. So we have 2 microphones set up. We have one here and one over there. If you would like to ask a question, please get behind one of the microphones and we'll turn our attention to you. How is everybody?
Really good. We were just arguing there who was to come out first.
Oh, I see. But you've not decided. You lost. But you've not decided which karaoke song you're doing today, right? We were trying to decide if they were going to do a karaoke song, which song it would be. So if you've got any suggestions, we'll take requests.
Or hurry up and ask questions so you don't have to listen to us sing.
Okay, first question, please, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
This is for Joanne. First, I want to say that I've been following you since you started in SFL and through Invicta, and of course now in the UFC. Who's going to be your next challenge now that you won your last fight? Who's it going to be?
So I'm just waiting here, and I was back in the gym, and I've not heard anything yet. So I'm just going to stay ready. I know there's 2 flyweight fights coming up on November and December, so if any of them fall out, anyone gets injured, I'll be ready. If not, I'll just be waiting on the sidelines, hopefully for the title fight, if not one before then.
I'll be waiting. And one for Leon right quick. Are you going to get back in there and try to get Masvidal and give him a 3-piece?
I've been trying to get a fight now for since March. He keeps turning it down time and time again, so my aim is to get the world title shot. I'm pushing for the world title shot.
Yeah.
I'm on the 2nd most win streaks in the division, so that's my aim, to be a world champion.
Good luck with you.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Yeah, it's for you, Dan. When are you getting back in the ring, sir?
How did I know that question was going to come?
Yes, of course. Everybody has to
My plan is to fight next year, first quarter next year, March, April time.
Yes,
Thank you. Next question, please.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. One for Germaine. Are you gonna fight Cyborg?
I'm first gonna fight Amanda, who just beat Cyborg. And let me try that first, all right? Let me try and get the belt back to Europe.
All right, that's good. And one for everybody. What would you say is the easiest fight you've had and the most difficult fight?
Easiest and most difficult. Leon, do you want to start? Well, you made Jojo walk out first, so it's only fair that, we switch it up.
Easiest? Probably when I fought Seth Brzezinski. I knocked him out in 8 seconds in Rotterdam, so that's probably the easiest one. The hardest one. The hardest one is probably when I fought Albert Tumanov. Masvidal ain't hard. Masvidal could not beat me, so when I fought Albert Tumanov, that's probably the hardest one because I was injured leading up to the fight.
Jermaine?
That's a good question. I don't believe in easy fights. I think December 14 will be the toughest fight. Yeah, there are no easy fights, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Easiest fight is just getting up and doing what I love to do. So every day, I know there's troubles out there, so I'm grateful enough to wake up every day and just go to work, and I feel that's the easiest fight, definitely. Hardest is, I've had so many fights that each one just gets harder and harder, so out of respect of all my opponents, I'm just going to say they were all, and definitely my last one, she was definitely a tough one.
And you?
Thank you. Oh, me? Oh, I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll answer that one later. Next question, my friend. Thank you.
First of all, congratulations on your podcast with Joe Rogan. Second one, I would like to ask Germaine, what was the problem with your title?
Oh, the problem was with my title. So before, when I fought Holly, we agreed that I was going to fight Amanda if I was going to beat Holly. I did beat Holly, and then the UFC asked me to defend my belt first against Cyborg. I didn't want to do that because we agreed on fighting Amanda Nunes.
Okay.
And that's how I lost the belt. But now I get what has been promised to me 2 years ago.
Okay, thank you. And one thing, isn't it great that Professor Rafael is sitting right behind me?
Hey!
Professor Rafael Cordero.
Hall of Fame coach right there. Yeah, here he is. Big respect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Hey, Germaine. Big fan. What do you think your key to victory is against Nunes?
Violence. Pure violence.
Absolutely love your answer, but specifically.
That's a pretty specific answer. No, I get you. Yeah, you know what? I just got to be the best me. You know, MMA is a very tricky game. Anything can happen. The most important thing is I got to have fun. And all you guys are going to watch, I hope, or some of you are going to watch. It's going to be a great show, and I'm going to bring violence. And I hope she's ready for all the violence I'm going to bring.
I absolutely love it. I hope you get the win. And for Leon, obviously there's been a lot of talk about who's going to get the next shot at welterweight. Masvidal's now squaring off against Nate Diaz. Who knows what the winner of that fight will get? So my question for you is, what's your idea of the perfect Sunday?
Perfect Sunday?
So you wake up on a Sunday, what are you going to do on your perfect Sunday?
I don't know.
Are you going to walk the dogs?
Say again?
Sorry, what I meant to say was, what's your keys to victory against Usman?
Masvidal or Usman?
Yes. So you've already faced him once before. What do you think it takes to beat him when you face him the second time around?
When I faced Usman, I was a young kid. My wrestling run is good. My grappling run is good. I've improved leaps and bounds since that. I have refocused my brain now and commit to my team. And as before, growing up in the UK, they tell you need to move to America to learn. But since going back to home and believing in my team, believing in myself, I'm now on an 8-fight win streak. So that's my key to victory, is keep doing what I'm doing.
I absolutely love all four of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Leon Edwards, basically, who would you say is your next, who's your next opponent? Who's the biggest challenge out there for you?
My next opponent should be Usman. I'm pushing for the title fight. Like I said, my aim is to be a world champion. If not, Woodley would be good. He's a former world champion. He's a legend of the game, legend of the off-road field. So that'd be good to run that again. So
yeah. If it ever comes to it, would you fight your brother?
What is that? Say again, bro?
Pardon?
What do you say?
If it ever comes to it, would you fight your brother Fabian Edwards?
What if I'm my brother?
Yeah.
Oh, sit down.
Next question, please.
Question for Leon and Dan, just generally about up-and-coming talent in British MMA. Obviously, you've got good shout. Obviously, you've got Fabian and you've got like people like Terry Brazier. Who do you reckon's the next one to come into the UFC and really dominate?
Who have you got at your team? You've got a few good guys at your team on Cage Warriors.
I got an amazing team, especially coming from from Birmingham. My brother, obviously, but I think he's committed now with Bellator. But I'd love to see him over in the UFC with me. So, from my brother, I got a few more good people, but I'll push my brother for now.
Yeah, we've got a few good guys. Terry Brazier, as you mentioned, Jack Shaw making his debut this weekend is going to be, one of the best fighters we've seen in the UK in a long, long time. And the other one I'm working with at the moment is Adam Amasinga, who's fighting on Cage Warriors. He's a special athlete as well. So in a couple of years' time, we'll be seeing him.
Sorry, just a quick question. Obviously, with current prospects like Jack Shaw as well, do you see someone like Nathaniel Wood being like a headliner for the next London card? Or?
I could certainly see him being high up on the card. He's a fan favourite. His style of fighting's awesome as well. So yeah, I definitely think we can see him up on the main card. Thank you. Next question, please.
Dan. So since you're gonna have your next fight, who would be your opponent?
Or who would be my opponent? I think there are lots of good options, to be honest. I think I think the ideal weight class for me would be 55, unless there's someone at 170 that's, you know, a tempting fight. But someone with the last name Diaz would be fun. Cowboy would be fun. You know, there's a lot of good guys. I want a veteran. I want someone that everyone respects, and I want someone that's gonna come to war.
I'd love to see that fight.
Thank you. Next question, please. That's a good shout.
Hello guys, welcome to Copenhagen. Nice shoes, Leon. A serious question for you. Do you like your soda calorie free or with the sugar?
Sit your fucking ass down. The fuck?
Thank you guys.
Next question, please.
The deals. Come on, bro. Sit your
Hello?
ass down.
Just wanted to say to Dan Hardy, I met you at the Cage Warriors event, and you're a bloody legend.
Thank you, my friend. It's good to meet you. What's your question, sir?
Hi everybody, and thank you for coming to Denmark finally. I've been waiting for this fucking shit for 25 years. I've been there since UFC 1, and I like it, and I'm really glad that you people came here to cement the UFC and MMA in Denmark. Thank you for that, and thank you to all the fighters. My only question is, who was the most, and this is for all you three, who was the most disrespectful fighter and who was the most respectful fighter that you ever fought?
Most disrespectful. That's a good one to start with. Who do you think? Anybody annoy you? Get under your skin? Oh, okay. Germaine's ready to go.
No, I got nobody that got under my skin, but I fought a kickboxing fight on the same card as Dan, and I fought Lucy. She came from France. So the referee said fight, so I wanted to just shake hands, and she immediately started to punch me in the face. So I had to knock her out.
Thank you. Super.
I remember that fight very clearly. I remember you backing that poor girl up into the corner and kneeing her to death. That was a vicious fight. That's the violence she's talking about for the title shot.
Yeah.
What's your next question, sir? Oh yeah, we're still rolling. Most disrespectful?
I don't know. I don't add much.
You get on with everybody, don't you, Leon?
I really have much. Respectful, probably Cowboy and Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah.
They're both very nice human beings, and it's probably them two both.
Yeah. Who have you got on with the best?
I've got on with most of my opponents and probably friends with them afterward. I would say disrespectful, my second MMA fight in India. She bit me, she held onto the cage, she headbutted me, she like done everything. So, and she was a golden girl and she was a bad loser. So definitely my second, I experienced some disrespectfulness in my second MMA fight.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, being bitten. I mean, a hard weight cut would explain that, but you know, still didn't justify it. Thank you, good question.
And thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Next question, please.
This is my first time to Copenhagen. I love this city. It's pretty beautiful. What do you guys think of it? And do you think that we're going to see UFC in Norway soon? I mean, we've got Jack on the main card. What's going on? Norway, we're Vikings. Come on, give us UFC, goddammit.
Yeah, I absolutely think we'll make it to Norway at some point. It makes sense. There's so much talent coming out of Norway. There always has been. And as far as Copenhagen, I love it here. Came here for Cage Warriors a while back. The crowd were amazing. They were there from the first fight. They watched everything that happened. They paid attention. They clapped. They respected the fighters. City's beautiful. I got my chest tattooed here. I love the place. Yeah, really cool. You guys enjoying it?
Love it.
I love it. Really looking forward to Saturday to see what the atmosphere is going to be like. Fingers crossed for Norway and Iceland. I would like to see UFC there. Obviously it's banned, MMA is banned there, but yeah.
We can fix that.
Yes,
We're
hopefully.
getting it. We can fix that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question, please.
Hey, Jojo. Obviously, prior to your last fight, you were in a very close contest with Caitlin Chukagian. Looking back on that, it was obviously very evenly split. How would you have scored that on hindsight if you've watched the fight back, and what would you do differently?
So yeah, I watched it recently back, and I thought I won. Obviously, you shouldn't leave it to the judges. Looking back, I felt like she threw a lot of volume, not a lot of the hits actually hit me. So yeah, I would just do more shadow boxing, and if I could go back and do that, yeah, I would just throw more hits. Obviously, I'm always looking to hit the person, but I would say, looking back, that's what lost me the fight.
Yeah, I personally gave that to you. Leon, say tomorrow if the UFC said, for whatever reason it was, you weren't getting Usman, Colby, or the winner of Masvidal, Nate, and they were saying either you have to sit on the sideline or you have to pick someone, what are you doing?
I just said, if you don't give me Usman fight, then the next fight makes sense to me. Will be the former world champion, which is Tyron Woodley, so
yeah,
any of them two will do.
Okay, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Tyron Woodley in the building actually today, so you know, we get a handshake and a face-off. I think that's a fight I'd like to see. Tell me about Abu Dhabi. How was your experience there?
I loved it.
Yeah?
It was very hot.
What was it like? Because the question I have for you really is, the dressing rooms were in a cold, air-conditioned tent, and then you had to walk outside into the main building. And every time I walked out of there, I started to sweat immediately. Like, what was that like on the way out to the fight? Did that affect you in any way?
No, because you're like you're really focusing on like, oh shit, this is actually happening. So it did kind of, as soon as you opened the door, you felt the heat, like it was like walking into an oven. But luckily, from my experience, I've had a couple of fights in Thailand, and it was pretty much the same, but in between rounds that they like drenched you in cold water, so I was missing that part. But yeah, I was grateful for the experience, and I got to see another country that I have never been to, so that was cool.
And you were a favorite at the open workouts as well. Like, they made so much noise when you walked out. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I was shit myself. Like, I was like first up, and being a female, I was like, oh shit. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and everyone was really, the atmosphere was great. I loved it.
Nice. We got another question?
Question for Dan Hardy.
Yes.
Jack Tang Shaw has arrived at the UFC. Are you ready for complete domination at bantamweight? Is the UFC ready for it?
I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready for it, yeah. I watched him come through Cage Warriors. He's a dangerous individual. The question I asked him yesterday when he was sat in the fighter meetings is he on fire yet, and will he be on Saturday?
He's always been on fire.
I'm expecting to hear that chant when he walks out. I'll be disappointed if I don't. Next question, please. Let's go over here.
Hi, is there anything special that each of you do to help prepare for like the pressures beforehand? Because you know the internet can be really nice, but they can be really mean. Like, how do you deal with that?
That's a good question.
Well, pressure before the fight, lead into the fight. For me, I handle it quite well. I get like a bit of like jitters before, like the day before the fight, but once come fight day, I'm like so zoned in that I don't feel the pressure that much really, so I handle it quite well.
Do you have any fighters in your gym that struggle with pressure that you talk to?
I've got a few teammates that they struggle real bad mentally with fight day, you know what I mean? Fight day, so that's it really. Well, I handle it quite well.
I most of the time avoid social media in fight week, and if I post something, I let somebody else post it. I don't read the comments, and it's just a waste of all your energy to not enjoy this beautiful ride, to meet so many great people. So, of course, you have some jitters, but those jitters keeps you sharp. You want to feel those.
Yeah, unfortunately, this comes with part of the job. Like, you're going to see negative out there on social media, but definitely same with these guys. I stay off social media and just try and see the positive and not see the negative.
I'm not the opposite.
Thank you.
I'm not the opposite. I love going social
You're
media.
on all social media all the time.
I'm on YouTube. I'm just like,
Your question was about how to prepare kids for nerves and anxious situations, right?
Yeah.
The one thing I would say, and this worked for me because I competed most weekends when I was a kid, and it was the positive reinforcement after the competition no matter what. That was the best thing, because if you start to build up the competition in the kid's mind, like it's important if you win and we'll be disappointed if you lose, then the pressure mounts on the kid to perform. Whereas if you're just taking part because you want to be a martial artist, then there's constant positive reinforcement. It worked for me anyway.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Hi, my question is for Leon Edwards. Who do you see winning, Jorge Masvidal or Nate Diaz?
I don't know. I was talking this the other day with my coach, and I don't know. It's a weird one because sometimes Nate don't show up at all. You know what I mean? And sometimes he shows up. So it depends what kind of Nate shows up. I don't know.
Thank you.
Next question, please, sir.
Hi, my question's for Leon. And Kobe Covington's been talking a lot of shit, and I was wondering, would you be willing to shut him up, or?
I'll fight anyone above me. He's the interim champ, so I'll fight anyone above me. As long as he's above me and gets to where I want to get to be a world champion, I'll fight them all.
Right, thank you.
Well, are you heading out to New York for that fight? Are you going to be there present for it?
I'd like to go, but I doubt the UFC let me go. Because Smash don't show up, so I doubt they'll let me go.
Next question, please.
Hey guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Randamie, regarding your fight against Nunes, she's like the best woman, female MMA fighter ever, and she's winning standing up. It's also your best way to win. So she's also good in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So what do you think? You have to drag out the fight, like 4 or 5 rounds before you get her tired, and what do you think?
I think the most important thing is I have the utmost respect for Amanda. Let that be honest. And she's a absolutely true champion and a warrior. But I'm not scared to get knocked out. I'm not going to wait 5 rounds or 4 rounds to tire her. I truly can say, I hope she wants to stand and bang this fight out with me. Because she will come into a different world.
Don't you think she wants to? She's doing it in all her fights.
Everybody wants to stand up until they get hit in the face.
Yeah, okay. The rest of my case. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next question. Do you have a question for us?
Hi, sorry I speak not very good. I had a stroke 3 months ago.
Okay.
So my question is actually for you, or the mind of everybody. Now they have the baddest motherfucking gangsters belt. Could you, or do you think that you could imagine like have a Hall of Fame belt, like a Hall of Fame card, where all the old fighters come together and fight?
You know, that'd be quite cool. I like the idea of having a veterans division, you know? Good question. I tell you why I like the idea of it as well, is because there are a lot of fighters that they kind of get to that stage in their career where they're still competitive, they still want to compete, but they're never going to reach that ceiling where, you know, the top 5, top 10 in the division. So if we made like a veterans division, I know a lot of old guys that would like to fight again.
It could be nice to see.
I think so. A Hall of Fame belt, that's a good idea. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Next question, please.
My question is more for UFC in general. What do you guys think of UFC Austria with Alexander Rakic? He's a prospect from Vienna, the Austrian wonder boy from Salzburg. It's my hometown too. So Maybach Taisimov.
So you want on the card then? We're going to get you matched up as well?
Yeah, for sure. I trained with him when I was 16 years old, and he kicked my face when he was 16 and I was 19. So he's a really talented guy.
Nice.
We will see it tomorrow.
I believe it. He is very good. Yeah, again, you know, another region the UFC would like to move into. It's so difficult with us having so many fighters on the roster and so many events. There are only so many weekends of the year, and I'm at almost every event, and I couldn't squeeze another one in right now. So hopefully next year.
What do you think about Alexander Rakic?
Oh, a very talented fighter. That combination that he put Jimmy Mano out with was beautiful. I think he's got the height, the reach for the division. He's got the striking skills. Just needs to get the wins now, and within sort of 2 or 3 fights, he'll be in that title picture.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question, please.
I have a question for Leon. I'm from Birmingham as well, so big up for that one, all right? Are you going to get payback for what George Masvidal did to you, yeah? I want to see you smash his face in, to be honest.
You know that already, bro. I'll get him back when I see him. You'll get back.
Do, bro. Cheers.
Next question, please.
Hello, everyone. Can I have some noise for UFC Copenhagen? Yeah! I want to tell to Dan, can you tell Dana why to make more fights in Europe, especially title fights?
More title fights in Europe. I will pass the message on when I see him, my friend.
Thank you, very much, and good luck in your next fight.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, I
think they
appreciate
need
it.
to make like UFC Birmingham. That'd be
again?
amazing. UFC Birmingham would be amazing.
Oh, it would be amazing. We need a big fight on there, though, so you got to,
You're never gonna get that.
You're going to need a title
You're
shot.
never
on
gonna
that
lose
one.
weight. Sit your ass down.
Next question, please.
Question for you, Dan. When will you have coaches in the Hall of Fame?
Coaches in the Hall of Fame. Have we not got coaches in the Hall of Fame yet? Must be about time. We should have some coaches in the Hall of Fame soon, I think. I mean, the amount that have had an impact on the sport. I could think of a few I'd put in there right now. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Good
Appreciate
shout.
it.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Thank you. So welcome to Copenhagen, and finally, as some of the others said, finally the UFC is in Denmark. I have a question for all of you. Last week we saw an incident in the main event that ended quite early because of an eye poke. How do you think the rules should be changed regarding to eye pokes, and should you be able to fight with your hands open or closed?
Well, first of all, I don't think the rules necessarily need changing. I think the gloves need changing. I think if you look at other organizations, the old Pride gloves were great. The Fairtex gloves that Cage Warriors use are very good. They keep the hand curved so the hand's not extended. And I think you'll all agree with me. When you put the gloves on, they pull your hand open, which means that it's more effort to close your hand than not. So really, we need to change the gloves more than anything. What are your guys' thoughts on it?
Yeah, same. I think more about the gloves than the rules.
Amen.
Yeah. I think I've solved the problem.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Nice.
I just want to ask Dan Hardy, what's your take on Nicolas Dalby's fight against Alex Oliveira?
How long did this?
I think it's a great fight. For you guys, it's an awesome fight because it's going to be a mess. But it's a tough fight for Dalby to come back into the UFC. We know how good Oliveira is. Tall, rangy, unorthodox. One thing that we have seen with Dalby in his previous few fights on Cage Warriors is that he's gotten a lot better. He's more mature, he's throwing longer combinations. And obviously his last fight against Ross Houston was a real mess as well. So I expect it to be a lot of fun. I mean, this is Dalby's fight to win really because the stage is set for him to, put on a great show for you guys. But make no mistake, it's a very tough test. Thank you. Next question, please.
I've got a question about the returns as a European MMA fan. The first question is when UFC is coming back to Poland. And the second question is when you are going to back into an MMA cage.
Well, I'm going to be back in there sometime early next year. And as far as Poland goes, I'm not sure. We've got loads of new territories we're looking at next year. So, I mean, the UFC schedule will be coming out in the coming months, and you'll see how much work we're going to be doing next year. As far as dates go, I'm not sure. But I love Poland. You've got great fighters over there, and I would like to be back there very soon. This man's excited. Look at him. Here we go. Very cool. Okay. Thank you.
And the question number 2
Go for
about
it.
your return to MMA.
Okay. Oh, yeah, no, I'll be back next year. I've already started preparing. So next year, I'm going to start looking at opponents. Thank you. Next question, please.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. How much time do you spend for preparing for the mental aspect of the game in your training camp? Like, for instance, yoga, meditation, and mindfulness.
Who wants to take that one first? The mental side of training.
I've been fighting for 21 years almost. 21 years. I've been preparing myself mentally.
Same, I think. I've prepared myself mentally over the years, and yeah, probably the same. Mentally, I'm quite solid mentally. I have no doubts in my head. It's more about the strain of training, and it's the routine of training that gets me, really. Just doing it day in, three times a day, day in, day out, and that's what drains me, and that's it, really.
Yeah, I've been fighting for 15 years and it never gets any easier. You still have to keep training, and every morning I wake up and listen to motivational videos on YouTube, and I feel like that kind of gets me prepared for the day, and then go in and train, and that's where I get my confidence from.
Yeah, nice. I used to do a lot of visualization stuff, just watching the fight through in my head and using particular songs to, anchor the good feelings to. That's something that I still do now. enough to be fighting as long as these guys just kind of roll into fight week like it's any other week. So, you know, you want to ask the younger fighters on the card. They're the ones that are doing the best work at the moment with that.
Right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hiya, how are things? Like the Irish people now, all want you all now to come back. We're all big McGregor fans now. We want all of you now in the card in Dublin. So when you go coming, we have to come back now to Dublin because we're all missing you. So what do you think of the King McGregor?
I like him. I'd like to see him back in competition though, because he's only the king if he's fighting, right?
Don't worry, the King will always return. The King McGregor will always come.
You know, his fight against Brandao in Dublin was one of the best events I've ever been to. It was amazing. What do you guys? You want to see him back in competition, McGregor? See, all fighters are of the same perspective. We all just want to see him fight again. You know, we're not bothered about all the stuff that goes on outside the octagon. We just want to see him fight.
Would you like to see him back in a rematch now with Khabib?
I'd like to see him get another fight first. I think, you know, a rematch with Poirier would make a lot of sense. Poirier coming off a loss.
But he already hammered him.
At featherweight. And I would say Poirier is better at lightweight
He
than
hammered
he
his
is at
head
featherweight.
into the mat in 90 seconds.
Yeah, but then the last time he was in there, he got choked out by Khabib, so you got to kind of weigh that up as well.
Let's see him with Tony Ferguson. Yeah? We all agree with Tony Ferguson. We all want to see McGregor versus Tony Ferguson.
For sure. Tony's earned the fight, though. He's earned the match.
What do you think? Tony Ferguson versus Khabib?
I think it's an interesting fight. I think Justin Gaethje's a tougher fight for Khabib right now, but
go on.
Tony
Thanks very
Ferguson's
much.
good. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Next question.
For Ollie is this one. Growing up, who were the MMA fighters you were looking up to? Who were your favourites?
There were no MMA fighters when I was growing up. Oh, thanks. Thanks. MMA fighters you watched when you were growing up. Fighters you watched when you were growing
Dan
up.
Hardy.
Who inspired you, basically?
For me, my idol is Anderson Silva. I think he's one of the best to ever do it, and the way he made like grown men look like little kids, you know what I mean? So, for me, that's my idol, so Silva.
For me, he's a kickboxer, Ramon Dekker. For me, he's a legend, and I love to see Justin Gaethje. He's my fighting hero, seriously.
I trained with Paul McVeigh, who was Cage Warriors champion at the time, so that was the first belt I saw, and getting to see him train and fight was kind of inspiring to me, and also Rosie Sexton, I got to train with her. But yeah, I'm Anderson Silva. If we're talking UFC, Anderson Silva was definitely my favourite. He's very creative, and yeah, he was. And Dan Hardy, like, come on, you can't not love this guy.
And also, were there any other combat sports you were doing before MMA?
Combat sports before MMA? I did all of them. Bit of all of them.
Anything specific?
For me, I did nothing before MMA. I got into MMA at age 17 because I was kept getting in trouble as a kid on the street, and my mum brought me to the gym, and just to refocus my energy at 17 years old, and now I'm 28 years old, and so that's what I did nothing before. Football, like every kid in the UK, so that's it.
That's a combat sport as a kid.
Kickboxing.
I was a swimmer, and then I was Muay Thai fighting.
Thank you.
Thank you. One more question, I'm afraid, guys. Sorry, we've got to get off the stage for the weigh-ins. Last question, please.
Hey, guys. First off, big thanks for coming to Denmark. I know we've all been waiting a long time. First of all, I would like to ask Dan Hardy, you were here for the Cage Warriors event. Obviously, two of the guys, Margot and Dalby, are going to be fighting tomorrow. Another guy, Soren Bach, got signed to another promotion. That leaves one guy, Mats Burnell. What do you think the chances are for him to come back to the UFC?
Honestly, I'm disappointed that he wasn't re-signed for this card. He's without a doubt one of my favorite European fighters. I love watching Mads Burnell's style, that James Toney front shoulder roll that he does. I'm a big fan of Mads. I think he should have been on this card. It's a disappointment that he's not. But within another win or so, surely we've got to see him back on the UFC roster. Absolutely.
And my second question is for all of you. What are your predictions for the main event?
Main event predictions. Good place to finish. Thank you. Main event predictions. Leon?
I'm going Jack. Jack he's a friend of mine, so I'll go Jack.
I really suck at predictions, so who do you think?
I'm just thinking the two guys are behind us, so as soon as we say one guy's not going to be happy backstage. So yeah, I think it's going to be fireworks, and I'm looking forward to it.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back in a few seconds for the weigh-ins. Please give these superstars a round of applause as they leave the stage. Thank you.